Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneur City Summit. And today I have the amazing Kelly Garrett, and we are going to jump in just a minute, but I want to introduce her a little more to you. She is the founder and master of marketing. So Kelly's vast knowledge and array of experience enables her to pinpoint the right combination of style, technical components, and a roadmap to accomplish any marketing objective. Her comprehensive background includes experience in the areas of IT, design, marketing, web development, and startups. As someone who is fluidly transitions between the creative aspects of design and the technical requirements of online marketing, she's able to zero in and solve complex puzzles to achieve a polished, cohesive look, strategy, and execution for any company. So just a little bit about her. She is also an Active Campaign certified consultant, Ambition Alley certified partner, and a Bot Academy certified bot consultant. And we're going to talk bots today. And guys, she's been doing this for over 10 years. So she knows her stuff in marketing. And I'm
Yay.
really excited to have you on, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. I'm super excited to be here, and I just appreciate the opportunity to chit chat and talk marketing because that's what I love.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So before we jump into the agency stuff, I just love to hear people's kind of their aha moment, right? So it's always inspiring to hear how you kind of transitioned in your business and on the path that you're on now. So I'd love to hear just a little
Yeah.
clip, a little clip.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think entrepreneurship and marketing is something that has kind of been ingrained in me since I was little. Like I was the kid who was coming up with little things to sell, lemonade stands, but then other little products and things that I'd come up with. And I loved designing things on like the very first, Macintosh computers. And I've always kind of in the back of my mind said, I'm going to own a business someday. And the timing of that worked out differently than I expected. I thought it would be after my kids were grown and out of the house, but I went through school, went to undergrad, and then went right in to get my MBA. And throughout all of that education, I kind of decided, you know what, I don't want to work in a corporate environment. I have too many ideas that I want to execute, and I have, just so many things that I want to be able to bring to the world in a bigger way.
Yeah.
So I just dove right in. I just started doing some freelance work and, had more business than I could handle. So I started hiring people and have just grown it little by little. So it's just been a part of my life for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, I love how you speak to growing it little by little, because when you've been in business for 10 years, it is kind of like that growing phase, but that's also really helps you build a strong foundation, which I know that's something you teach.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't, there's the myth of like overnight successes and you hear about that, but what you don't know that's happening behind the scenes is that people have been working on things for a long, long time. And it truly is. It has to go little by little. Something that just pops up overnight is not going to have the longevity. And it's going to tumble at some point because you need to have a foundation in place, and that just can't happen quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really good. And I'm going to segue into talking about your agency. So let's talk about what happens, what are the basics to building that strong foundation? I know this is really important and often missed.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that one of the things that has not changed, we've had a lot of technology changes in recent years, and one of the things that has not changed over time are the basics of marketing and the basics of humanity and what it means to be a person. And so companies are skipping right over all of that and diving right into the technology or the newest trends or the newest blueprint or template to follow, and they're missing out on the basics. They don't have a clear picture of what their company is. They don't know themselves very well. They don't know their customers very well, and they don't know how to communicate with the customers very well either. So that foundation is where I start with people. We have to figure all of those things out first in order to make sure that your marketing is going to be a success, regardless of what tools you're using, what technology you're using.
Yeah.
But then I have a very strong background in technology. So after we've figured out the basics,
Mm-hmm.
then we can go and have fun with the toys and,
Yeah.
apply everything with the
Yeah.
tools there. But we know that once the tool goes away, you're not going
Yep.
to sink because
Yeah.
you've got the foundation.
Yeah, and I just want to talk to that a little bit, and just like people often think like, oh, the foundations, it's so boring. And the way that you're putting it, it actually doesn't sound boring at all. It sounds like quite an adventure of diving in a little deeper to yourself and who you want to work with. So I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's one of the most fun parts of what I love doing is because it really gives you a chance to understand your own business better.
Yeah.
A lot of clients, when we're working through their plan, and the first things we're doing are
Mhm.
understanding, well, what is it that makes you different? What is the things that you do that
Mhm.
your competitors don't do that your customers are going to feel like it's a really good fit? A lot of, people I work with, they're like, wow, I've never thought of it that way. I
Yeah.
didn't know that was a strength of mine. I
Yeah.
didn't know that that's how we stand out. So it's really fun to help
Yeah.
people uncover that.
And there's something that happens when people uncover that for themselves. Like there's like this new energy, this like new fire almost, where they're like, huh, I really understand myself and my business now. So I'm really excited to start putting this out there and be really intentional almost. And then you throw the technology on top of that, like what will work for them and their ideal clients. Wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just have nothing else to say, but it's fun and exciting. And to watch a business go through that transformation
Yeah.
is amazing to be a part of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, strategy, design, tech. I know you're talking about all of that. So let's talk about companies, business owners, and then the relationships they have, because that's really important too. I know you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, back to the basics of marketing, it really boils down to knowing your customers
Hmm.
and understanding what they need and what they want. And it's a
Yeah.
relationship that you're building. All business is a relationship, no matter what widget you're selling or what your manufacturing process is. At the end of the day, it's about people. And so, one of the things that I do really well is that I'm able to put myself in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
And so, because of that ability, I can then take a customer or a business's strengths
Hmm.
and help communicate that well to the customer and understand the experience that the customer is having. And that's where the alignment happens. Once you understand what your customer is going through,
Hmm.
you're able to create a journey for them with
Yeah.
while interacting with your business, so that every experience they
Yeah.
have with your business from beginning to end, and then creating loyalty after they've become a customer,
Yeah.
is really important. And it changes the way that they feel about your business. It increases the referrals that they give. It makes
Hmm.
them longtime customers and just sing your praises.
Yeah, okay, so that's really good. And I want to kind of walk people through what a good customer journey looks like and what a not so good customer journey looks, so we can do a comparison, because I think that's going to be really useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with a not good customer
Yeah,
journey because
yeah.
I think that is more commonplace. And what that looks like is, very siloed marketing. So a lot of people will go and hire a web developer, and
Hmm.
then they'll go and hire a designer, and then they'll hire a strategist. And those pieces never really talk to each other or move, in harmony together.
Hmm.
And it just makes a fragmented experience. If a customer sees your Facebook page that has different branding than your website, and the messaging is off, and it's just not cohesive, they're going to see right through that. And it's a subconscious thing. I don't know that too many customers actually in their conscious mind say, oh, that font is different than that font.
Yeah.
But it's a subconscious thing that it just lowers their trust level, and they don't it can cause skepticism, like, well, I don't really know what's off here, but something feels off. And so I might not want to work with that company. So that's just on the initial, first glance type of thing. But then once someone becomes a lead and they're starting to get to know you, that same thing, you have to be able to have the same messaging, the same things that they first saw about you and were attracted to you have to carry on throughout your lead generation process. And then when you're nurturing them and then eventually getting to a sales call or trying to convert to a sale. So that's only this, that's only this much of it up to the point where they actually become a customer. Then once they're a customer, then you really have to make sure that their experience in working with you matches the outside of your storefront. If you think of it like a brick and mortar store, once they walk through the door, they can't feel like they're in a completely different place. Right? And I think so many businesses do that.
I just got this really good visual of like walking into a storefront and then having it be like this dungeony area.
Yeah, right?
Like, exactly. What is this? Yeah,
exactly. And that's, businesses are like this. A lot of it, we spend so much time and effort focusing on lead generation and filling our funnels and making that as polished as possible. And then, we're so exhausted. Okay, we got customers in the door. Now let's be reactive and serve them. But yet we're doing a kind of,
skipping over a step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then too, after we've delivered our service, how are we following up with them? How are we making sure that we did meet their expectations and that we're there to support them in the long haul? Because remember, this is a relationship. It's not just that we want money from you, and now that you've given us your money and we've made our obligation to you, we're gone. No, this is something that you want to continue to nurture and grow. So all of that has to be cohesive. It has to have the same personality. It has to feel the same for the customer the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I think everyone probably not everyone, but I'd say a majority of business owners and entrepreneurs have not yet done that. Like I can see that and I'm like, wow, I'm seeing that everywhere. There's very few places I'm not seeing that.
Right. And it's okay. I mean, it's not okay. It's something we should fix. But don't feel like, oh no, my business is horrible because I don't have this in place. Yeah. This is definitely something that can't happen overnight. Yeah. It takes time to do all of this, and it can only be done well if you have the foundation in place of knowing yourself, knowing your customer, and then communicating that well to them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's something that has to evolve over time. You can't start a business and have this in place. And in fact, I see a lot of people do this when they're starting up. Yeah. They get obsessed with all of these things, namely logos. Everybody wants to dive in and design their logo because they think that's the first step in starting a business. You really shouldn't maybe not even get to a logo until you understand your customer and understand your business. So it does. It takes time. It has to evolve.
I love that you're saying that, because what you just did is like, in case someone's having a panic attack right now, you're like, It's okay. We all have to go through this because, entrepreneurship and business ownership is a journey. And you're talking about, well, once you've got the foundations, this is the next step of the journey. So let's follow you with what a good customer experience looks like in what you do. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. So for me, in what I do in specific, and I think this is common among a lot of businesses, I think customer education is a huge part of the customer journey, that if you were going to pick one place to start with making a great customer journey experience, it would be an education and making sure that you are taking your customer and holding their hand through every step of the process. So on your website, do you have the common questions that people ask? have your customer or have someone who is a potential customer go through your website, and without any prompting from you, make sure that they can get all the information that they need
Mm-hmm.
and that they know how to take the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Once they've taken the next step, then make sure that they're very clear on, you know, what it's like to work with you, what it's going to cost, how to make sure that they know everything that they need to get out of working with you, and they can know what to expect as far as the results of what they'll get.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, it's educating them on, maybe a lot of times customers come in and they think they want something specific.
Yeah.
And, you know, your job is not to do a bait and switch. You want to make sure that you're very aware of what they need, and making them feel like they're getting what they need, but also educating them on, well, you think you need this, and that's valid, and this is why, but in addition to that, you also need this, or in order to do this, you have to set this foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So really holding their hand and teaching them throughout the process, and always being clear about what the next steps are.
Yeah.
So then once they're a customer, you know, sitting down with them and saying, okay, this is how the process is going to work. This is how we're going to complete your project. These are the items we need from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you give us these items, this is how we're going to execute it. It's great to have phases if you're working on a project basis, to outline the different phases so that they know what to expect. And then once you're done, to wrap up and recap for them. Here's what we did. Here are the outcomes. You know, here's what we've presented. Here's any documentation you might need. Here's any training you might need.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what's going to happen from now on going forward. So you can expect a call from us in 3 months, or you can reach out to us with questions for this amount of time. And here's what our relationship is ideally going to look like from now and into the future.
Yeah.
And so that whole piece, I mean, as a customer, can you imagine just how good that feels to know, like, wow, this is going to be easy. They've got my back. I know what to expect. I never have to play guessing games.
And, you know, and for the customers, that's great. And as a business owner, because I want to make sure, because we're talking to business owners, think about how you are setting yourself up for success, not just with you're ending a project on a positive note and putting the boundaries there. Because so many times, and I'm speaking for myself, I have clients that come back and just like, can you just help me with this? And, you know, let's do this. And for me, I'm like, well, yeah, you can absolutely, you know, re-up, but they just want the one thing. So having that customer relationship, like, and laying it out in an email, lets them know what they can come and ask for, and also helps me, the business owner, set some boundaries as well. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you've set that expectation up front, and people are reasonable. You know, people are going to see that and go, oh, that's not what I signed up for. Or, you know, there might be some way you can work out if there's something that they need to add.
Yeah.
But the times when things blow way out of scope and timing gets delayed and nobody knows what's going on is when there's not that expectation set up front.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I will attest to this. What you're saying is going to save a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of energy for both the business owner and the customer. So I can see that, how important that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And missed.
Right. Yeah.
Missed a lot. Even me. So
well, and you know, me too. I mean, there's, like I said, this is an ongoing, evolving thing. So there's always something you can improve when it comes to your customer journey.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. I can see so many light bulbs going off for myself and for the audience members, like, oh, I never thought about it that way. That sounds like it'll make my life easier. But I also want to point out that you are quite, and I love this, you're quite the trendsetter, or you actually are very good at predicting trends. Yeah. As much as you're talking about foundations and how that is the starting point, and I want to let people know that that's important. So if you haven't solidified your foundations, pause this and maybe go do that first and then listen to the rest of this. But you are amazing at predicting trends. And I want you to share with everyone what the happening trend is for 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of my secret sauce, is that I start with the foundations, and
Yeah.
a lot of people stop there.
Yeah.
And but I just love technology, and I am always just thinking forward a million steps. And I'm not sure, I haven't quite identified yet what exactly it is that allows me to do this, but it's just a gift that I've been given, and it just speaks to me and lights me up. So I really have been able to, like, style is kind of my forte in that, and technology too, kind of sense what the life cycle of a certain trend or a certain style is going to be. So I'll see something. This happens all the time, and my friends and family comment on this all the time. I'll get a whim, I want this color blouse, or there's something that I just love. I get obsessed with it and I love it, and I'll go shopping and try and find it. Nobody has it. None of the stores have it. And I get so frustrated, like, why can't I find this anywhere? And then sure enough, 2 years later, boom, it's all over the store. Everybody is loving that color, and it's all over. So that's when it comes to style. And so that really helps design, me from a design perspective, be able to make a very cohesive brand.
Yeah. And I want to tell people that I'm just going to show this because, we saw each other on a mastermind cruise.
Yes.
And I was sitting next to Kelly, and she had this really cool notebook.
Oh, you got yours.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. This really cool notebook. And I'm like, I love your notebook. What is that? Is that a QR code at the bottom? What's that thing for? Here it is, guys. And so she started describing this as the Rocket Book, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be huge.
Yes. And, such a funny thing, because since we've come home now, I've seen knockoffs. Just the other day, there was a Facebook ad, and it was advertising this thing that you can scan. And I'm like, what? Wait a second. That's the Rocket Book, but it's not. And you can even microwave that one too.
Yeah, that's what I loved. I mean, she kept going on about it, and sure enough, like, I was like, yeah, but what if my kids, that's really expensive for a notebook. What if my kids, like, scribble on it? And she's like, oh, well, you can microwave it. I know, you've got it right there.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Right? I just want to show people, like she's not just talking. She's really got an eye for this stuff.
My daughter grabs this all the time, and she colors in it. And I don't mind, because you can stick this in the microwave and it'll erase everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
she's really good, guys. Like, it's incredible.
And when it comes to technology, I think I was thinking a lot about this the other day. I think it's just because I'm observant.
Yes.
I am just constantly watching, and I think that's a skill that people have to hone, because I think we get so wrapped up in our own world that you just have to stop and watch. So I subscribe to things like TechCrunch and, the technology types of publications, and just scan them. You don't even have to spend a lot of time doing it. Just scanning.
It's a combination. And I'm just going to point this out so you can own it, is that not only are you observant and you can hone in on something that is very interesting, but because you have that talent of being able to step in other people's shoes, you make that connection.
Right.
And that in itself is a rare talent. That's a rarity for someone to be as observant as you and see, like, wow, I can see that that's a really essential product. And then being able to step into, like, your client's shoes, or your shoes, or your friend's shoes, and your family's shoes, and just like, well, I could see that really connecting, and that's rare. That's very rare.
Wow, thank you. I've never put those two together before, but that's exactly it. It's being able to, and that's when I say I can tell what the life cycle of a tool is going to be too. It's understanding how people are going to use it.
Yep.
And then being able to kind of predict, well, they're going to get tired of this at this point, so then that's going to fall off the cliff, and just understanding human behavior too is a big part of it.
Yep. Yep, and like I said, it's a gift. It is a gift. It's rare because a lot of people aren't connecting the dots like that. So,
Mhm.
which makes it so you such a powerhouse in what it is that you're producing for people and with the life cycle marketing. So, um, she has a really interesting take on technology and how to utilize this, guys. I'm gonna let her take back over and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's definitely easy to get caught up with the latest thing, and that's,
Yep.
going back to scanning TechCrunch and that sort of thing. I mean,
Mhm.
I can easily get caught in bright shiny object syndrome.
Mhm.
Everybody can get caught up in that, and that's the careful balance of it, is that you have to bring yourself back to understanding that technology in specific is just a tool.
Yeah.
It's, yes, there's amazing features it can do, but that's just the vehicle for connecting people and making things easier for people.
Mhm.
But take away all of that, at the end of the day, we're still people.
Mhm.
You and I are having this conversation over this fantastic technology that allows us to be in each other's houses,
Yeah.
chatting across the country, but it's about our relationship.
Mhm.
We're still people, and we need that. It's hierarchy of needs. Like, that is a fundamental part of who we are, and we need that connection. So
Mhm.
that's the careful thing about what's happening in society with technology, is that people are forgetting that at the end of it all, we're people. And
Mhm.
so the bright shiny object of the coolest tool, because it can do this thing and it makes our lives easier, that's what people are getting
Yep.
caught up in.
Yep.
So as much as I love technology, that has to be the bottom line and the
Yep.
foundation. I have a little side project I'm doing called Marketing Futurist. If anyone is interested, I can give you a link to that.
Yeah.
And what we do is we bring on people who are in the world of marketing high tech, and they're futurists. They're out there predicting the future. And so we do an interview, and we get really geeky. We talk about tech. We talk about, artificial intelligence, robots, everything. And these people are working with the best of the best. They're
Mhm.
in Google. They're in Facebook. They're doing these things.
Mhm.
But sure enough, every single conversation we have boils down to, it's about relationships and it's about the person.
Yep.
So rest assured that the people that are out there creating this future for us,
Mhm.
they're aware of it, and they know that that is important. So it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page about it. And I
Yep.
think that boils down to communication. I think that's the greatest issue we have in
Yeah.
society, and as technology increases.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
good
It's
to hear.
very reassuring, because
Yeah.
it's easy to get scared. What all these things are going to take over my jobs, and we're going to be, Wall-E, the
I
movie.
know,
We're going to
right?
be sitting in chairs, eating popcorn and watching movies, and
Yeah.
um, they're people are aware of it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I mean, Wally doesn't being people in chairs doesn't sound bad for like a weekend.
Right. Yeah,
A
right.
rest weekend, right? Binge on Netflix.
Yes, I know. We can all use some of that.
Someone paint my toenails while I'm sitting here in my chair. Oh, we'll
Yes.
have a robot do it. That doesn't sound bad, but yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And I think that you're honing on a really good point that people are scared. They are scared of technology. They are scared of it taking over and losing that human connectedness.
Mhm.
Gosh, I mean, we could have a whole other interview on this and the cell
Right.
phones and the upcoming generation and all that stuff. So rather than seeing it for what you're saying is that people are aware and they are creating technology and still keeping that human experience. And it's very
Right.
reassuring.
Right. And two, the understanding that we on an individual level have the power to change
Yes.
that and affect it. I think
Yep.
you hear that in politics all the time, go vote because you can have an individual impact. One vote can make a difference. Well,
Yep.
what I'm learning and seeing with Marketing Futurist is that on an individual level, as marketers,
Hmm.
we have the power as an individual business to impact and influence how technology is going to lead and change society. And the more people out there that are focusing on the human side of things, the faster we're going to get there and the less scary technology is going to be.
Yeah, I love that. So we'll put that, and that's a group. Is that a group?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. So we'll put the link to that. And I also know that you have a wonderful free gift that you're going to offer
Yes.
everyone. So I'm going to let you go ahead and tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, I do. So we've been talking about the foundation of what I do, and that's starting with knowing your business, knowing your customers, and then communicating that to your customers. And so what I have is a video training. It's 12 steps to elevate your marketing impact, and it'll walk you through each of the 12 things that you can do. And like we were saying, this is something that has to evolve. I don't want you to watch the videos and go, oh my gosh, I don't, these 12 things, I'm never going to be able to do this. Pick one at a time and start there. This is not you have to follow all 12 steps and you're not done until you follow the 12 steps. No, this is 12 areas. Pick one, work on that, then pick the next one, work on that. And all of these pieces, and there's no right order either. And I'll explain that in the videos, how to choose and how to kind of dig deeper into each step.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for offering that, guys. And you guys have seen the free gift link in her page and also in the email, the daily email. So go and get it. And also in the bio, we're going to go ahead and put the group name and link too. So if people want to join that, for our techie listeners who wanna see the latest trends. So Kelly, thanks so much for coming on. And I wanna just open up the last couple minutes. Is there anything you'd like to tell the audience members or add in?
We covered a lot. I'm so grateful to you, Danielle, for giving me this opportunity. Like I said, I think just the more we can communicate about not being afraid of things that are happening with technology and going back to the basics with marketing, remembering that people are behind everything, and that is the most important part in what we do. Don't ever lose sight of that, and your business will skyrocket.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for coming on, Kelly. And thank you, audience, for listening in. And we will be back with another episode. Thanks so much, everyone.